Okay. Okay. I think you should be good. The mic is hot.
Very good.
And we'll be using that same mic for questions at the end. It just has to be on tape, but don't worry about that for now.
Okay. Thank you. Huh, see, we got one more. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
How's everybody doing today? Welcome to Thursday, March 5th, New Jersey Geospatial Forum General Meeting. We have a few people coming in the back. You can come in and sit anywhere. It's good to see everybody. So we'll start with constituency group updates. Are there any constituency group updates? The update I have from the county constituency is we had a county coordinators meeting in this room last week, and we spoke about many things under the banner of the Geospatial Forum. Hopefully, all the county constituents were there and present, at least the GIS heads. Should we get started top down? You want to go federal, or do we have anything from the federal constituency group? Anything from any constituency group that would like to come up? And we got the state. Okay, so come on up, Brian.
Morning, everyone. My name is Brian Embley. I'm the State Geographic Information Officer. A few updates from me and my office and such, general forum stuff. So welcome everybody. Forum-wise, thanks for coming today. And reminder, we have lightning talks coming up at our next meeting in June, right, June 4th. So fun event. Many of you have participated or remember those from the past. We squeeze in as many 6-minute presentations as we can in the meeting time. So we'll be sending out reminders and really think about maybe presenting some of your work in a quick 6-minute talk. Great time to kind of showcase. It's only 6 minutes. And this year we are doing something a little different. We're partnering with Rowan University, right? And Rowan's involved with the forum. And we're going to hold the event down there on their campus at Glassboro. So that'll be something a little different to keep the event extra interesting. So that's June 4th, right? So lightning talks. Matt mentioned we had a county coordinators meeting last week on Thursday. So it's pretty well represented. Counties, there's 21 counties, right? And they do a lot of common things, and they steward and own a lot of data, and we found that it's good to get them together and we talk about common issues from time to time. So this is our second meeting in 6 months, which is a really great cadence for us. This meeting, we had 13 counties out of the 21 represented. That's fantastic, I think. And we spent most of the time talking about NextGen 911 deployment. That hits the counties a lot and hits my office a lot. So big topic, lots of data, and it's 911. So we got to make sure we get it as right as we can. So that was a great meeting. A couple of things from my office, from State Office of GIS. Just some reminders, right? We stopped updating some of our older base maps, the color base map, the light gray base map. We used to update these over the years. We've been doing them for a long time. And the reality is that we don't need to. I mean, the vendor base maps are just as good, if not better, than what we can keep up with. So we've phased them out. The base map services are still available, and you can, but we're not updating them anymore, right? For those two, color base maps, light gray base maps. We even packaged up the image tiles, the cache tiles. If you want, you can download it from our website. It's all at engine.nj.gov. Let's see. Another one is the state geocode service, right? NJ Geocode. We made another little enhancement. back in December, right? So this is a geocoding service, runs on our ArcGIS servers. Maybe you've used it, maybe you haven't. You can do interactive, submit an address, get a location back. But over the years, we've added, not only can you get back the XY and the standardized or cleansed address from the state database, but we have the parcel block and lot can be returned also for that site, the school district for that location, the elevation value for that location, and that elevation is based off the 10-foot DEM, state DEM. And we added from the parcels from the mod 4, we added the address qualifier code or the Q code to help you figure out if a particular location is maybe a condo or multiple addresses on one lot kind of thing. So if you're familiar with that, the Q code is available. I think that might warrant, maybe that's a lightning talk that we'll do. We'll deep dive on that in the future, at a future meeting. Also, another reminder from us, our parcel feature service, right? Back in November, we released a new one with updated parcel data. We had a couple field data type changes from text to numbers, which is what they should have been from the beginning. The reminder is that the old service, we haven't been updating, the old parcel feature service, we're taking it down soon, March 11th. So we've been communicating this for months. This is reminder, March 11th, that old service is going to be turned off. So if you're still pointing to it in your apps or whatever, make sure you're using the new one. If it goes away on March 11th, then you know that you were using the old one. Use the new one. Like it's going to be that clean, cut and dry. Let's see, a couple other things. So also in recent months, we have updated some of our metadata guidance. You'll find this on the Engine website, right? We have some real updated and succinct guidance on how to write the short metadata version. We call it Engine Core, right? It's what we think are the most valuable elements. So if you're a data steward and you share data, please look at that. If you're intimidated by the FGDC standard, which is quite long and lengthy, use the short one at least, Engine Core. And we have a great graphic and video talking about it. Hopefully that'll make it easier for folks to digest. It's on the metadata page at engine.nj.gov. So a couple other things. We do have an executive committee meeting today at 1 o'clock after this. So folks that are here will meet in this room. Folks that are remote, we'll do our best to dial you in on Teams. And a couple other things. So just recently, maybe even today, the GPN Mid-Atlantic chapter announced their conference dates. Right? So awesome. We've been waiting on those. The conference happens every 2 years. Great event. Encourage you to be there. October 21st and October 23rd in Atlantic City. So we were expecting around sometime in October. Glad to have those dates. If you're not familiar with the conference, super event. There's some workshops where you can get some hands-on training, usually at the beginning of the conference. Lots of information sessions. I'll be there talking about, I haven't decided yet. But my office will be there. We like to make a strong showing. I think it's Hard Rock, right, Justin? Hard Rock? Yep, so different location than last time if you've been going to this for a while. Still Atlantic City. And, think about, maybe doing a session. Talk about your work. Like, you guys do good work. Don't be shy about sharing it. So those conference dates are announced. Last thing I wanted to mention, the DEP annual map contest is coming up, right? April 8th. So this is the 38th year, 38 years map contest. Great event. Check out their website. The registration is open if you want to submit like a map or an app. They have different categories. If you just want to attend and check out the festivities, it's a great event. It's also a great networking opportunity, as well. So that's held over at DEP's office, and I think they have a remote option. But check out their website for details. So I think that's it from me. So I will turn it back to Matt Duffy, our chairperson.
So Rowan, lightning talks. I'm excited for that. At the county coordinators meeting last week, many of the coordinators there noted that they were tasked or otherwise intrigued and I don't know, spurned on to maybe voluntold is a better word. They were voluntold to generate and develop something for the 250th anniversary and calling it, I think in short, NJ 250, which, okay, sure, it's NJ 252, right? I would like to call you all to, if any of you all out there in the audience, both county, municipal, if you have done any 250 work, either story maps or anything, I would like to have that as a standing revolving exhibit at our next meeting at Rowan. And I'm calling you to send them to me or our email address here, whichever you like. Lots of you already have my email address, so you can just send it to me or to the listserv. However else, I'd like to show off all of your work, at least for the 250 story maps and posters and whatever you guys developed. I haven't seen any of them, but several of the folks last week noted that they did that, and I'd really like to see all of them, and I'd like to highlight them at the Lightning Talks meeting in Rowan. And I'm stealing my friends at Obsequion Lighthouse's terminology, interpretive exhibits. I would like to make it an interpretive exhibit. I'm sure Jean isn't watching this, but I'll tell her about it. She'll get a kick out of it. Okay, so that brings us to the portion of the meeting where we have the open discussion and announcements. I see all of our friends from Esri are back, which is great. It's good to see you guys. I know life has been interesting to say the least, or at least so I've heard. I haven't actually seen many of you in a while, so I can only assume it's been interesting. I can't wait to hear all about it. So with that said, do you guys have anything that you want to say? Open discussion audience now. Is there anything out there in the chat world that I may or may not be able to respond to here while I'm up at the podium? Going once, going, yes, please, Justin, Esri, go for it. Yeah, come on up. Absolutely. You got to be recorded and it has to be.
Good to see you. Good morning, everyone.
Wait, sorry, my fault. I should have done that.
That's fine. I project loud anyway. Hello, good morning. Justin Cusick with Esri. First time I've been here in Trenton for a couple of years. So yes, life has been interesting. I'm a new father now, so that's an exciting development in my personal life. That's not why I'm here to talk, though. So a couple updates. Thank you, Brian, for communicating the GPN MAC conference in Atlantic City, changing the venue to Hard Rock. So that's an exciting announcement that we just posted this morning. We're also going to have our spring webinar on Wednesday, May 6th. So we're going to be working on the agenda for that shortly. With the conference, we're going to be updating our website. We'll be doing a call for abstracts very shortly. So to further on kind of Brian's point, if you have interesting and impactful use cases of GIS, we'd love to have you and participating in that conference. I also posted this week, there's another Esri specific event happening in New Jersey, the New Jersey Esri Environmental Consulting GIS meetup at Montclair State University.
Restate everything you just said because I
Everything.
can't hear you on team. Well, the last sentence, 2 sentences.
Okay.
Your last announcement.
My last announcement. So GPN or
Just begin.
okay. So the Esri event, the New Jersey Esri Environmental Consulting GIS meetup, that's going to be at Montclair State University on March 27th from 8:30 to 12:30. There's an agenda that's already kind of being put together. I do believe my colleagues on Esri's AEC team that's responsible for this event, they are still looking for a few more presentations. So if anyone comes from the environmental consulting world and has an interesting story to tell, please reach out to us or look for the email that was submitted into the listserv and let us know if you'd like to present. The other thing that's come up recently in some of my conversations with some of my New Jersey customers, I believe this came up at the coordinators meeting somewhat recently, the upcoming deadline for Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act, accessibility regarding web content. Just wanted to let you know, Esri has resources that cover what we've been working on as it relates to our products and software and technology. Obviously, you have to take action on that individually as government entities. I believe this deadline that's coming up, April 24th, 2026, is for state and local government entities with 50,000 or more in population. If you have any questions about the resources that Esri provides for that, please reach out to me. Let me know. We will share that with you, as it has come up in quite a few forums that this is a deadline that's quickly approaching, and many of you have to take action on this, not just with GIS, but any web content. So get in contact with your IT folks, your web teams, and see what's required of you. And that's kind of all my announcements right now. Actually, one final announcement. I wanted to introduce my colleague, Tom Parisi, who we recently hired at Esri, former GIS specialist at Warren County, New Jersey. So he's working with our state and local government team now, supporting, all of our state and local government customers across New Jersey. So I wanted to kind of give a shout out to Tom as one of our newer hires. That's it. Thank you.
Apologies again to Justin. We're trying to accommodate the teams. And if you don't talk right into the microphone, they can't hear you. So, okay. Anybody else have anything interesting? Dave, I know you might want to say something. Come on. You want to say something? Got something to say? No. Okay. You never know, if you don't call them out. Anybody else? Going once, going twice before we get started? All right. Okay. So now we're going to listen. We're going to listen because we are going to listen because they're not here with us. We're going to do this remotely. We've changed it up a little bit this time. Usually we have the speakers must attend in person, and through much great consternation and complaint, we're not doing that now. So, and that's okay. I'm going to introduce to you our speakers for today. This is from the USGS NGP NJ project updates, and using the company NV5 deep dive into statewide orthoimagery acquisition. Eliza Gross from the National Map Liaison USGS National Geospatial Program, and Drew Meren, Senior Account Manager from NV5 Geospatial. USGS will provide updates on New Jersey's elevation and hydrography projects and discuss introductory information about New Jersey's newest statewide orthoimagery acquisition, which I believe hopefully we're going to hear is going to be released and be available this year, but I won't steal their thunder. I'll let them say. Now to my OIT team, do I need to do anything or just introduce Eliza? Eliza, I guess you'll get started. Is there anything I need to do up here for them to get started? They can just take it away. Okay, so Eliza, I guess with that, you can just take it away.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Hi, everyone. Yeah, thank you for the introduction. Bummed I can't be there today in person, but want to thank all the administrative and technical people there for making it possible for me to present remotely. So for anyone that doesn't know me, I'm Eliza Gross. I'm with the US Geological Survey's National Geospatial Program, and I'm the National Map Liaison for New Jersey, as well as Delaware, New York, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee. So I'm going to go over some New Jersey project updates. So specifically, I'm going to go over updates for the 2 elevation projects that are in progress. We've got a hydrography project and the orthoimagery project. I'm going to go over some project differences, talk a little bit about our contracting and things, touch on differences between the 2020 and 2025 orthoimagery projects, and then I'll give it away to Drew to show you guys some flashy things with the orthoimagery project. So the first project I'm going to go over is the Northeast 6 County project. I think it's been a while since I've really done a detailed update for this group, so I'm just going to go over everything here. So just to refresh everyone's memory, this project is for the 6 counties in the northeast part of the state. It's 1,410 square miles, Bergen, Hudson, Essex, Union, Middlesex, Monmouth counties. Sorry if I mispronounced any of those. This is a quality level 1 LiDAR project funded by New Jersey DEP as a consortium partner and also USGS. And then this project, they tide coordinated the acquisition along the coast. And what that means is they collect the elevation data within like a few hours of low tide. That way, as much of the land surface as possible is exposed during that data acquisition. So this project started back in spring of 2023. I was not liaison for New Jersey at the time. If anyone remembers Roger Barlow, he's the one that really kind of got this project up and running from the USGS side of things. So the project was awarded, they had the kickoff call, and the data acquisition began back in spring of 2023. They thought they collected all the data in spring of 2023, but some of the data ended up being corrupt. They had to go back and refly some of the data that fall, and data acquisition was completed then. So we thought in fall of 2024, they discovered some data issues, and then that spring of 2025, so this is, last spring, the data were reacquired, and that completed the data acquisition then. So then this past fall, Work Unit 1 passed independent QA/QC, and since then, kind of status, this project consists of 3 different work units. And it's not highlighted on this map, but when they went back in spring of 2025 to reacquire data, they also picked up Somerset County in there. So Somerset County is Work Unit 3 then. So Work Unit 1, the contractors working on the 3rd round of corrections from USGS. For Work Unit 2, it's currently in independent QA/QC review, and then it'll go to USGS for review once it passes independent QA/QC. And then Work Unit 3 is at Somerset County. The contractor is working on the 1st round of corrections from USGS on that. So next steps, giving a broad time frame here, spring, summer of this year, we'd like to see final accepted data shipped to the partners. I have a little caveat in there, final data acceptance is really dependent on how many rounds of corrections are needed to meet USGS review requirements. So obviously this is not a hard date here for final accepted data. So it really depends on how well the contractor addresses those corrections. So we've got another elevation project in New Jersey, 1,629 square miles, Mercer, Burlington, Camden, and Gloucester counties. This is also quality level 1 LiDAR data funded by New Jersey DEP as a consortium partner. And then NRCS and USGS also contributed funding towards this project. This project is also tide coordinated. Some people are surprised to find out that the Delaware River is tidal south of Trenton. So that part is tide coordinated. And then there are some waterways on the southeast tip of Burlington County that are also tidal. So tidal on both the eastern and western portions of this acquisition area. So this project was awarded back in May of 2024. We had the kickoff call in November, and then March of last year, the data acquisition began and was completed. This past summer, last summer, the pilot data were delivered and accepted. And then from fall of last year to winter of basically right now, The contractor has been editing the data in preparation for independent QA/QC review. So we've got a planned delivery of data for independent QA/QC review of March 31st of this year. They're hoping to have the data to USGS for review by September 2nd. And then, really that final data acceptance and mailing the data to the project partners is really dependent on how many rounds of corrections are needed to meet the USGS review requirements. So stay tuned on these projects. I know especially the 6-county project is running pretty far behind. And yeah, USGS, there's really, we're working on it as much as we can, working with a contractor, and we're excited to see the data definitely from both of these projects. It's going to be a great contribution to our quality level 1 data that we're acquiring. So moving on to something different here, we've got a hydrography project that's in progress. This is part of our 3D hydrography program, 3D HP. This project covers 3,874 square miles in Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. It's funded by the Delaware Geological Survey, NRCS, and USGS. So the Delaware Geological Survey, their intent was to fund statewide update of hydrography data. And because we do not, we can't cut like watershed boundaries at state lines, political boundaries, NRCS and USGS submitted or funded the out-of-state portions. That way we could acquire that larger area that extends out of the state and get additional hydrologic units as part of this project. Luckily, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Maryland benefit from this statewide project for Delaware. So this project consists of deriving hydrography data from quality level 2 or better LiDAR data. And what those projects look like for New Jersey is deriving the hydrography data from this 2015 Delaware Valley QL2 LiDAR and the 2018 South New Jersey QL2 LiDAR project. So this project started in summer of 2024. The project was awarded. They had the kickoff call, and they began compiling like the DEMs that the hydrography data were going to be derived from. Winter of 2025, the pilot sample data were accepted by USGS with corrections to be addressed in final data. And then last spring, they divided the project area into 4 different work units, compiled the DEMs for each work unit, and then they sent the compiled DEMs to USGS for review. And then, like, for example, that New Jersey portion of the project, the contractor has to stitch together these 2 different LiDAR acquisitions to create like a seamless DEM for that part of the project. And then some contractors submit the DEMs to USGS for review before they start deriving the hydrography data. So these guys opted to do that. And then they began data production in last spring. And then through the fall and winter, we actually, they decided to consolidate the 4 work units into 2 work units. They're shown there on the map, the pink and the green. So the New Jersey portion of the project is actually part of work unit 1. That's the green on the map. And then this inset map with the blue, that just, it's a zoomed in look at what that project looks like for New Jersey. So then they delivered work unit 2 to USGS last month. So that's their second time delivering the data to USGS. They had a first round of corrections. So the data for work unit 2 are in review with USGS. And then this spring, they want to deliver work unit 1 to USGS. And then basically these hydrography projects consist of a back and forth between USGS and the contractor, kind of similar to the elevation projects. When USGS does review, USGS will compile, review feedback and give it back to the contractor. The contractor will make corrections and then submit it back to USGS. So they're hoping that whole process should be done by the end of August. So this summer, we're hoping for final data delivery. And then the final data delivery, it just consists of the elevation-derived hydrography. So it's basically updated line work. And then once USGS receives that updated line work, they will work through like the fall, winter, end of the calendar year. They will work on ingesting that final data into the 3D hydrography program data model. And then once that's done, they do like the whole conflation and everything to the GNIS feature names and things. And then we've got some attribution in there, like flow network derivatives that really make this into a powerful data set. And then once that process is complete, the data will be available via the 3DHP web feature service, and hoping on a future call to be able to demonstrate some of this data and how to use the web feature service. So it'll be exciting to have some 3DHP data available for a small section in New Jersey. So the last project updates to go over, the statewide orthoimagery. So this is 8,252 square miles statewide, funded by New Jersey DEP once again as a consortium partner. And then, so this project was awarded, we had the kickoff call, and the data were acquired very quickly last spring. So there was a lot of turmoil in federal government over the last year, and this project just seemed to magically clear every hurdle. We had other projects that were not so lucky, that had to be, we just couldn't get them through our new contracting process, and they had to be pushed off until the fall. But yeah, the New Jersey partners were really on top of it. The contractor was on top of it, got the data acquired in the springtime, which is what everyone wanted. So this is kind of like a little shining light from last year. So last summer then, the sample and pilot data were submitted, reviewed, redelivered, and then accepted. And then from fall of last year till winter of this year, the project area was divided into 4 different work units. That's what the map is showing there. The different colors are the 4 different work units. They worked on orthoimagery production and also working on finalization of deliverables. So this spring, the contractor is going to deliver all the work units for independent QA/QC review. They're looking to deliver all 4 work units by the end of May. And then fall of this year is the expected time frame for final accepted data. So the data for this project USGS does not review orthoimagery projects, so it'll just be going through the independent QA/QC review. So I just wanted to touch on some of the differences between these projects. So I hope it was pretty apparent that the projects I went over, there were 2 elevation projects, a hydrography project, and an orthoimagery project. And then just I have the project names on here for reference. This is a USGS standard. When we speak about these projects internally, we have to include like the official project name. So that's why you see that on all my slides usually. Kind of keeps everything organized. Some states, they like to name their projects very similarly. So having these official kind of names really helps us internally. And then the funding partners, you might have noticed I kept mentioning New Jersey DEP as a consortium partner. So I just wanted to touch on that. So I kind of made a hypothetical example here of, you know, what this consortium might look like. I'm sure I didn't get all of the state partners on here, and some of these might not even be part of the consortium, but basically what this looks like is as the consortium partner, New Jersey DEP, they consolidate the funding at a high level from other state agencies. For example, this like the orthoimagery project, New Jersey Department of Agriculture might have contributed some funding. Department of Transportation might have contributed some funding. Department of State might have contributed some funding. And they all work with New Jersey DEP to contribute that funding. And then New Jersey DEP kind of consolidates everything, and they work them directly with USGS rather than USGS having to work with 4 different entities here. New Jersey DEP consolidates everything. We have one joint funding agreement between DEP and USGS, and that just makes it really makes it easier, I would say, for everyone. We do work with other states that aren't quite this organized, so definitely we appreciate the fact that New Jersey DEP does this, and yeah, a great, nice relationship that we have going on here in the state of New Jersey. So I just wanted to illustrate that. And then another thing, was the DCA available and used for the project? So for the elevation hydrography projects, yes, the DCA was available and used. The orthoimagery is, the DCA is not available for orthoimagery projects. So of course it was not used. And for anyone that doesn't know what the DCA is, that stands for our data collaboration announcement. If you've been around for a while, it used to be called the BAA, but it's now the data collaboration announcement. So this really allows USGS to collaborate with stakeholders to share costs of our data acquisitions. So this is only available for our 3D elevation program and the 3D hydrography program projects. And federal agencies, state and local governments, tribes, academic institutions, private sector, they're all eligible to submit projects. So basically what that consists of is interested stakeholders will submit a project submission form and other info that USGS reviews to determine project acceptance. So this is what New Jersey DEP did for the elevation projects. And then it's also what the Delaware Geological Survey did for the hydrography project. So, you know, not every state takes advantage of this funding opportunity because USGS can sometimes fund up to 50% of the project cost, depending on what our funding looks like for that year. So it's a great opportunity for states to take advantage of. And yeah, New Jersey really consistently does that for their projects. So unfortunately, we don't have an orthoimagery option for the DCA. We're kind of, I know USGS was more in the orthoimagery realm years ago, but we kind of got out of that business when NAEP really took off, USDA. So, but we do have our contracting for the orthoimagery projects. So that's kind of what this highlighted column is, like the approach for the project. So all 4 of these projects use the USGS GPSC. If you don't know what that is our geospatial products and services contracts. So this little table here for the GPSC approach, USGS manages the project. It's a reimbursable agreement, and the funds flow from the partner to USGS. And then the other type of agreement is a cooperative agreement here, where the partner has to manage the project. The partner manages the contract, and then the funds flow from USGS to the partner. So for projects that use the GPSC is a suite of contracts. It can be used by federal, state, municipal governments. So if you need a contracting mechanism, like we have this available, it serves as a multiple word acquisition vehicle and uses private mapping firms that were selected based on qualifications and performance. And the services that are provided are listed here. For example, the imagery and LiDAR data acquisition that it's used for. And it's part of the architecture engineer, the A&E contracting umbrella. And then I have our selected contractors listed here as well. And then a final difference between these projects is for the elevation hydrography projects, USGS reviews the data, like I mentioned before. Partners can opt for independent QA/QC for any of these projects, and New Jersey opts to do that for their project, which is great because the data go through a whole other set of eyes, and a lot of times things are caught that USGS might not see. But USGS does, like I said, we do not review orthoimagery projects. So the partner then is responsible for either validating the project themselves or obtaining independent QA/QC. So then just differences between the 2 orthoimagery projects. So sorry, I'm losing my voice. New Jersey DEP used our GPSC to acquire orthoimagery in 2020. And just to, orthoimagery is orthoimagery, but you're definitely not getting the same product, like data product, from 2020 to 2025. And just wanted to illustrate that here. So your ground pixel resolution between the 2020 acquisition, it was one foot, you're going down to a half a foot. And then the original image resolution, that also is being cut in half. Your horizontal accuracy is going from 4 feet for that 2020 acquisition down to 2.5 feet for the 2025. And then to accommodate all that, they went to a smaller tile grid cell size, and I have a little snippet just to show here the tile grid. Yeah, sorry, no flashy images here on my updates or presentation, but I'm gonna leave that up to Drew. So if you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out to me as always, and I'm gonna turn it over to Drew.
Thanks, Eliza. I'm going to share my screen now. Can everybody see my screen? I'll take that as a yes.
You can. Yes, we can see you. Thank you, Drew.
Yeah, so I think one of the benefits of the success from the imagery program is NV5 took the mantra that you don't mess with Jersey. So that's why it was so successful in the acquisition. So for this particular project, I'm going to show a couple of pretty pictures, but my colleague Monica will really show an interactive view of the data. So I'm going to try to go through these slides fairly quickly so you can kind of work through it. I also thought it'd be nice to just point out that we have 3 offices in Jersey. They're more on the engineering design side than the geospatial side, but we do have some offices in the state. Again, everybody likes a nice little pretty picture of what we're capturing, the schedule, and then some questions at the end if people have it. As Eliza mentioned, when you talk about a federal, state, private partnership, that's big in and of itself. But when you start listing the project team and the agencies and the people that are involved, it just becomes much more robust. And all of these projects, even the ones that Eliza mentioned on the elevation on the hydro side, has lots of partners and input from USGS participants, the private sector as well as the state. This kind of goes into a little bit more of a deep dive about what Eliza mentioned. We captured this project in at a half foot or a 6-inch resolution. We use the types of planes that you see here, which are like Cessnas, and we delivered a more advanced ortho tile grid. So it created 4 times the amount of tiles, or you will be getting 4 times the amount of tiles than what you had back in 2020. And the coordinate system is the same as what it was in 2020, I believe. We are delivering in 16-bit, so the files will be pretty large, like they were back in 2020. And we do have some 5 smaller areas, which I'll get into in the next couple slides. As mentioned, I don't know if the color can come out pretty well, but we had some really good flying weather in a relatively short period of time. We needed to acquire the areas, half of the state, the northern portion with a 40-degree sun angle, so reduce the shadows of the trees and structures. And then conditions needed to be free of clouds and shadows and all those other wonderful features during a spring collect. These were the actual acquisition dates. We started in the south and we just progressed north. You can see the line in the middle between the 30 and the 40-degree sun angle, and that's how we broke up the flight. We broke it up into 2 segments, had to capture everything in the south first, and then we progressed north. So we had definitely some good flying days to capture it. When you do move to a higher resolution imagery footprint, there is more ground control to meet the digital orthophoto mapping accuracy. So we acquired 55 additional ground control points. You can see the green dots. And then we also performed about 50 QC checkpoints So in total, about 105 points were captured throughout the state. They are publicly available points. We did provide a ground control report. So those locations are available to anybody within the state. The ortho production process. I know one thing about Jersey is that you guys have been flying the state for many, many years. I think dates back to 2007. You've been doing it fairly consistently. We do perform the AT solution using the airplane sensor, the airborne GPS, and then tying it into the existing ground control, or the ground control that we are creating. And then we process through the ortho rectification process, making sure there's radiometric balances, so that the seam lines between the flights and the images are seamless, and you get yourself a nice little product. These are the deliverables. This is a industry standard specification for digital orthos. It's a lot more than just providing a pretty picture. There's a lot of supporting complements and information. We do provide the data in multiple different versions in a TIFF and a SID file, and that information will then be used for the state to then upload to their site. There is actually still a hard drive or an FTP site, depending on how much the data is, but in this case it's probably still another drive that's being sent to the state as well. Eliza mentioned this a little bit. There are 4 delivery statuses. We just delivered the lot 1 last week, and lot 2 will be delivered this month. We are not anticipating any additional hiccups on the during this portion of it. Usually you find the hiccups during the initial stages, during the verification of the imagery, and the initial analysis and the AT solution is where you find a lot of the issues. So from the partner side, NV5, we're not anticipating any major issues moving forward. Here is the timeline that we had within the contract that we have with USGS. As you can see, we're pretty much online with everything that we've talked about. The good stuff is coming. The actual data is what you'll really be seeing this year. I do see one issue is that the USGS is going to be 2026 on the last line instead of 2025, but that's more of a typo. So with that, I am going to go back and I'm going to stop sharing and give this to Monica so she could take over and actually show you what the imagery looks like in the Esri's Experience Builder site. One thing that we've have learned before Monica starts talking is we've learned that when you have a Teams meeting with a lot of people on a call and you have it on your own device, ArcGIS Pro and Teams, we try to avoid it. So it's nice that we have the last minute. We put this into an Experience Builder to avoid latency, so you can actually see the panning around a lot faster. So it's definitely a nice thing that you'll be seeing right now. So Monica, when you have a moment, you have the screen.
All right, let's see. Everyone good? See my screen? Yep, okay. Yeah, so like Drew said, my name's Monica Chisholm from NV5. I'm the imagery program manager out of our Lexington, Kentucky office, and that's where we're making the magic happen right now for the 2026 ortho delivery. So like Drew said, what I'm going to go through is just show you guys a few previews of the 2026 imagery that will be available later, well, 2025 collection, 2026 delivery. And then I'm going to do just a few comparisons. So, you know, like Eliza mentioned, Andrew as well, the previous collections have been 1 foot. This time, we're 4 times better than that at the 6-inch half-foot resolution. And then after I go through a few examples of that, I will also kind of show you a bonus in the experience builder, like Drew mentioned, which is just something we've been experimenting with to see what else is possible with a collection like New Jersey's. And so like Drew said, when I get into some of this, I'll try to go a little bit slow just to make sure there's no latency, but I do apologize if there is. Okay, so what's on my screen here is Atlantic City. And this is actually the 2020 imagery in 12-inch. And so I'm going to use this area here just as a comparison example to show you guys what the 6-inch data is going to look like. So if you take a moment and kind of look at these features and see what you can see, and I will show you the same area in 6-inch. Okay, so there's definitely right away a noticeable difference in the detail. I will give you guys a moment to take a look at this one, make sure I don't have any lag, and then I'll flip back to the 12-inch just for one more look at that. All right, so now that we got an overview of this area, let's zoom in and take a closer look at some of these features. So we've got, these crisscrosses here on this rooftop. We've got these air handlers here, and these features right here on these vents. Let's take a look at that in 6-inch now. So right away, you can really see a difference, and I hope everyone can see this on their end. The air handlers here, you can actually see all of the different fan blades. This glass feature is in much greater detail. All of the edges are cleaner. I'll flip back one more time. 12-inch, 6-inch. Okay, so I want to show you another area. So let's head over to a pier. So here is a pier in Atlantic City in 6-inch. Here was the 12-inch. Significantly noticeable difference in the detail. So the next thing I want to show you guys is something that New Jersey does, which is really great for their imagery program, which is fly extra flight lines in areas with very tall structures in order to reduce the building lean, which is what is created, when the plane sees the building, kind of what looks like laying on the side. And so that is really visible in standard ortho products. And so what happens for this project in particular, like Drew mentioned, we have 5 areas throughout the state where we fly extra flight lines to try to get more of a top-down view on each of those buildings. So let's head over there and I'll show you an example. This is in Jersey City. And for this example, I'm going to show you all in 6-inch. So this is the 6-inch flight for the 2025 flight, 2026 ortho product. And this is a standard ortho. So you can see that this building looks like it's laying on its side. This one as well. We've got some road blockage over here. Now let's take a look at what this looks like with those reduced building lean flight lines. And after NV5 has processed the data in order to reduce the building lean. So now you can see there's a pool and a courtyard right here that we didn't even know existed. And you can see that now because this building is now in its true footprint. Over here, the road is no longer obstructed. This building is also in its true footprint. Well, they all are. So that's a really big, it's a really big deal to do that in these areas, and it makes a huge difference in the visibility of the roadways throughout an ortho project. Okay, so that is everything I wanted to show you guys on the actual ortho data. So now I'm going to show you kind of a, I'll call it a bonus in our experience builder, which this is just something that we've been experimenting with, like I said, to see what else can be done with a collection of this scale. And so I will switch over to that now. So we're looking at the same area here, and what we've created here is a 3D imagery mesh, and we created this using Esri products. So for these, I was able to generate this everywhere that we had extra imagery for the reduced building lean areas. So I'm just going to take a few minutes to, rotate around some of these and show you the context that you gain from going from this, where we already revealed a lot more context by creating this reduced building lean, now into 3D, where we can really see kind of what is going on here. So I'm just going to take a few minutes to pan around, and then I'll show you guys a few other spots that we did the same thing for.
So one of the things that while Monica's talking, this is just from the imagery. We are using Esri's reality software to make this data work. What can be done, we were trying to work with USGS and the state to get the LiDAR data for Jersey City as part of the 6-county project. We can start incorporating the LiDAR data to clean up the buildings and the sides and the structures even more so. So this is just with imagery, and there's also plenty of other things using other data that USGS and the state are working with. But this gives you an idea of having access to these additional flight lines in your urban areas, collecting it, that you can start zooming in and seeing actually what the building looks like.
Yep, so I'm in Newark here. Now I'm going to head over to Trenton. And Camden.
You can see a little bit on the bridge overpass on the northern side there that, when you can't get underneath the bridge there, so you'll see it's a little skewed. So those are some things that come up. As you can see, some of the overpass, the lighting, it's not going to be to the full degree because this is also a 6-inch pixel. Some of the other commercialized third-party companies that offer this, they capture it at 1-inch or 3-inch, and so the pixel is just that much more detailed. You get even more detail to the structures. So this is just using the state imagery to provide this type of information.
Okay, last one is Atlantic City. There's the hard rock. Here's the pier we looked at earlier. And I'll just head down the coast here and I will end this kind of where we started. So you can see that first structure complex that we were looking at in 3D as well. All right, that's it for my show and tell. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. That was terrific. I look forward to seeing that. Hopefully that'll be released and available for us all to play with. Drew, you have anything
Yes.
further? Yeah, go for it. I just didn't want to stop you if you were still continuing.
No, I don't want to talk anymore after showing that.
It's a hard act to follow for sure.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Okay. All right. Well, that was fantastic. Thank you both to all our speakers for that today. That was really great. I have some. Maybe I don't. Okay. Oh, okay. So see, I thought I was gonna have questions, but all right. So let's see what we got. If there's any, first of all, is there any questions in the room on anything that you just saw? We have, incidentally, for the folks that aren't here, we have about 31 people here. So, not including the folks that don't want to be here. And then another, looks like 77 or so, 75 online right now. And that number's been fluctuating up and down. So we've got a good group here today, both virtually and in person. So I thank you all for coming out and attending. I am wondering though, so we learned from that as far as the ortho goes, the ortho imagery it looks like it's going to be August of 26, barring any other flight. So that's something that I know folks like me are definitely looking forward to. Okay, so was there any other questions? Do anything further here?
This is one question. Can you read that?
I wonder if we can plug this into cab navigation, connected autonomous vehicle. So there is a question. Can we plug this into CAV autonomous vehicle, connected autonomous vehicle?
Are you talking about the imagery?
I think the 3D model and the imagery, yes, I think is the question.
If the vehicle has access to view the source data files, theoretically, yes. Now, once you get into a vehicle, just think about, the podium that you're at is probably 2 feet wide. So that would be 4 pixels. So it's not as detailed as you are when you're in a vehicle. It'll be much more skewed. This is much for grander, larger city, larger municipality related projects than seeing a mailbox or a streetlight.
I sort of was taken to Hollywood when I was seeing the experience builder. I was thinking, the intro credits or the outro credits to a movie is really what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, we do have an entertainment division in our company that does do some LiDAR and imagery for some of those projects as well. That is 1-inch imagery and hundreds of points per square meter LiDAR. So it's very, very, very detailed. So yes, it can get to that level, but we don't all have production budgets like movies.
No, we don't. Certainly not at the municipal or county level, that's for sure. At least, I don't think so anyway, not in Atlantic County. So I was going to adjust this so I could see the chat, but I don't know if that's going to mess up the
I see one from Mr. McLean.
Go for it. I don't see it, so please step up. Where is he? Go, Chris, but I am giving up on information. What's the question, Drew? Because I don't see it here.
He just has his hand raised.
Oh, Chris, go ahead. Oh, wait, Chris, wait, hang on. All right. Clearly, I do not have
Which
the
one is this? So
savvy. Okay. Is this using Gaussian splatting? From Victor Okoye is asking if this is utilizing Gaussian splatting.
I can answer that. I can answer that one. No, this is not. This is a DSM mesh, which is, it is still basically what people call a 3D mesh, but it is a model that's works best for nadir only imagery, which is what we have here. A Gaussian splat would probably get you finer details. I don't know if that would be a route that I would take with the 6-inch imagery or not. I haven't tried it, but it would certainly be an interesting thing to try on a project with really high resolution and a lot of really fine details that you want to capture, such as like what Drew mentioned, something for a movie production.
Thank you for that. We have a question from.
And the purpose of the experience builder was to visualize the data for this call today. You know, further discussions on having those 5 sites. Monica has the experience has all 5 of them, so you can zoom out to the full extent and you can see all 5 of the locations where it exists. You know, if further discussion and discussions on what you want added, other layers, all that information can be applied. And I'm sure I'll put pressure on the Esri folks in the office. They in audience, they could probably answer what other things can be added. All the vectors, raster vector data can be added to the Experience Builder interface as well.
Thank you, Drew. Sorry about that. I was trying to get to this question that I couldn't find. Thankfully, Chris reposted it for us. Is there any technology in the pipeline that might
can't hear you.
Is there any technology in the pipeline that might shorten the turnaround time for these ortho projects?
I still can't hear you. It's very low. The volume is very low.
Sorry about that.
I can hear you better now.
Okay. Is there any technology in the pipeline that might shorten the turnaround for these ortho projects? Is the question we have from Mr. McLean. Shorten the.
I don't know, Eliza, do you want to answer that first, or do you want me to talk?
Yeah, I think you might know more from the contractor side of things.
Yeah, so on the contractor side, there's definitely time to dealing with the acquisition, then getting the additional control to verify the ground control with the airplane GPS signal to tie in the points, and then the production. The largest amount of time is in the quality control. You're dealing with a large state, 8,500 square miles. There are options to provide a first return type view option where you'll see the seam line edits and then the bridge warping and several other things that take time. So the imagery could be available to be viewed, but you'll see the the building lean, you'll see the bridge warping, the seam line issues. But the biggest portion in the project of this size is in the quality control period, which could be upwards of 6 or 8 months.
Thank you. That's Brian's gonna add to this.
Hey, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me on this mic. So thanks, Drew. I wanted to point out, though, let's compare apples to apples, right? If you buy commodity imagery, subscription imagery from providers like that, the turnaround appears much quicker. We pay extra money. New Jersey pays extra money for all this awesome stuff that Drew talked about, right? For the ground control, for all that QA/QC, the building lean stuff, the spatial accuracy of it, right? So that takes time, and it's important to us because we want the imagery to be as good as it can. And then we, as many of you know, we use this imagery to create and derive other data sets from it. So the accuracy is very important. What I would task you to do, if you're wondering why does this take longer than the subscription service that I have, I would ask you to go compare the horizontal accuracy of your subscription service, start doing some side-by-side comparisons, that kind of stuff, and you will see the difference, and you'll understand why we pay for that. Yeah, there's a question in the room. Yeah, so I'll repeat the question. So question in the room is, can we talk about the horizontal accuracy of the 25 versus the 2020 flight? So I'll start, but I'm going to need help from the MV5 team. So Eliza showed that slide, right, of 2.5 foot accuracy in the 25 versus, I think, 4 foot in the 2020. Right, so significant accuracy there, improvement. I don't know, Drew, Monica, do you guys have any details you can fill in on that?
I don't have a slide on that one that I can show and verify. It's to meet, Monica, can you confirm this is for meeting national map accuracy or ASPRS? We follow for orthos.
Yeah, I believe this one's for the ASPRS, but yeah, so yeah, kind of what Drew kind of explained when he was going through his slides and discussing, how we collect extra ground control. That really is a large piece of the puzzle here. So, we're getting higher resolution imagery, which is better, easier to measure. You can more accurately measure ground control, and then you're also adding more ground control, and you're going to end up with a more accurate product. And so that is what we are doing here with this data set. Yep.
And with this imagery, I know that there are a lot of geospatial people on the call. This will be able to meet 100 scale mapping type of data. So 1 equals 100 foot type of mapping data that we can do.
Yep, thanks guys. So the ground control part Monica talked about, right? Ask your subscription vendors, what ground control do they use? What is their horizontal accuracy? That's the question. Not why does it take longer to get those levels of accuracy? So I just want to clarify that. And some years ago, we, a team of state folks, did a deep dive on the subscription services that were available then and prep for the 2020 flight. Because, man, they were coming out rapidly. And the horizontal accuracy wasn't there. We started looking at it and comparing landmarks and stuff, and it just wasn't there. So we still do these custom flights. And they are pricey, but that's why. So, okay, I'll step down. Thank you.
So Chris, to circle back to your question, it sounds like although the technology is getting better and better to collect this, we are now increasing the horizontal accuracy needed, which is sort of like takes us back to taking even longer because there's more data. So it's twofold. Let's see what else we have here in our. There is one other one. Did the increase in, okay, so here's one from Andrew Garcia at the DEP. Did the increase in the number of control points used significantly reduce the horizontal inaccuracy with imagery? So by way of having more control points, did it significantly decrease the inaccuracy is the way I'm.
The purpose of ground control is to meet industry standard accuracies. So it is ASPRS accuracies for a 6-inch digital ortho, is why we collected the ground control, is to meet that accuracy level. I guess you could reinterpret it based on that question, but I want to answer it based on how we perform the work, is to meet accuracy guidelines that are industry standards for digital orthophoto.
Thank you, Andrew. Another comment from Eliza, a reminder. Oh, geez, of course, I screw it up. A reminder from Eliza is the Geospatial Mid-Atlantic Users Group is having a spring virtual event on Friday, April 24th, 2026 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. with lightning talks and 20-minute presentations. And here's their website, so you can access that from the link. And then Andrew realized that his question was already answered, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Okay, so does anyone else have any other questions in the room or virtually? Okay, so thank you very much to Eliza and Drew and Monica and the team of listed team of partners and players for this presentation and for this data. We're all eagerly awaiting access. Moving on, I'm going to take a moment to just remind you all the next meeting for the Geospatial Forum General Meeting will be in Rowan. There'll be more information about that. It is our Lightning Talks meeting. I am requesting that any one of you out there that have done NJ USA 250 to please submit them to us as a interpretive exhibit at this event that will just be running constantly. I've sort of, without asking first, I kind of said, yeah, OIT can do it. Thankfully, they're backing me up and they're saying that they can do it. So we're going to hopefully see all of your presentations there. I'm looking forward to it. And also your lightning talks. Now is the time to submit your lightning talks. I believe I am the receiver of lightning talks again this year, which is great. Duffy_Matthew at aclink.org. I'll look forward to see there's a handful of things I need from you with that. Your name first and last, title of your presentation, your abstract. If your name isn't something like Sam Smith, please add a phonetical saying of your name, because I botched many names last year and I feel terrible about that still. June 4th, Thursday, Rowan. Hope to see you there. Does anyone else have anything for the good of the forum? Or does anybody else want to say anything at all? All right, well, I guess, oh, we got one more. We got to take her. I knew we would. I thought it was going to be Dave, but it's Brian.
All right, me again. I was waiting for someone to ask the question of when can we get this beautiful imagery that we just saw, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So the dates that the MV5 team showed, I think it was August sometime delivery. Let's talk about what that means, right? So you guys want the community here, I expect, wants to know when you'll have the imagery and you can start using it. Fair question. That August date, as was shown on the slide, that's when NV5 delivers it to the US Geological Survey, USGS, right? So it's not available to you yet. There's more things that have to happen. So at a high level, USGS receives it, they look at it, they confirm that the deliverables are what they should be, and then it gets delivered to New Jersey and it comes into DEP, right? So the team at DEP will do the same thing, do some checks, make sure everything's there, do whatever QA/QC they feel they want to do, right? And then when they bless that, then they give it to us, Office of GIS. Well, it goes to the funding partners, right? Like we didn't really have the right slide with the state funding partners. DEP pays the largest portion by far, but there's other agencies, including my own, that contribute. So those funding partners get the first delivery of imagery, right? So only fair. And then once we get it here at the Office of GIS, it's our job to make it available to you. And we're going to do that in a couple of ways. We'll take the cloud optimized geotiffs, throw them up in the cloud. We use AWS and make that available for interactive or bulk download like we do with our past flights. So that'll be similar. We'll also publish it as a service that you can consume. This time around, we will tile cache it, right? So it'll be raster tile cache and published. Hopefully you're familiar with how those work. It will not be a WMS format. We're doing that. We like the tile cache performance better. We also have to migrate off of the technology that we use to serve out those WMS services, because support is an issue for us. So we're slowly migrating off of that format. So now, when is all that going to be ready? And I'll be able to say, hey guys, you can get it at this URL. I don't know. You can imagine though that from the time MV5 delivers it to USGS through all the steps I described, there's time for that work, right? Months. So as we know more, we can refine the date, but that's the plan. So I just want to take a minute to share that. And then that's it for me. Okay, so Matt is saying that some of us are going to Cooper's for lunch. I would remind the executive committee to be back here at 1. We're not waiting. Be here at 1. I just want to thank everybody for coming to the meeting. I want to thank our MV5 contractors for showing us that. Thank you. That was great. Eliza, as always, thank you for showing that. And a reminder, Eliza's on our executive committee. So thank you, everybody, and hope to see you at Lightning Talks in June.